Hinterkaifeck murders Germany, 1922. A farm, a family, and footsteps in the snow. In the early spring of 1922, on an isolated Bavarian farmstead called Hinterkaifeck, something deeply unsettling unfolded. Something that still refuses to be explained. The farm sat between the small towns of Grobern and Weidhofen, surrounded by forest and fields. It was remote, quiet, the kind of place where nothing unusual was supposed to happen. But in the days leading up to the murders, strange things did. The family living on the farm were Andreas Gruber, 63 years old, Kazilia Gruber, his wife, 72 years old, Victoria Gabriel, their widowed daughter, 35 years old, Kazilia Gabriel, Victoria's daughter, 7 years old, Joseph, Victoria's young son, 2 years old, and Maria Baumgartner, the new maid, 44 years old. 6 people. By April 4th, 1922, all 6 were dead. The warnings. Days before the killings, Andreas Gruber told neighbors about strange occurrences. Footprints in the snow leading from the forest to the farm, but none leading back. Sounds in the attic at night, like someone moving. A missing set of house keys. A newspaper from Munich that no one in the family had purchased. The previous maid had quit months earlier, claiming the house was haunted. Gruber searched the property, but found nothing. Whatever was there stayed hidden. The night of the murders. On the evening of March 31st, 1922, the killer began. One by one, for members of the family were lured into the barn. There, in the darkness, they were murdered with a mattock, a farming tool similar to a pickaxe. Investigators believe Andreas was killed first, then his wife, later Victoria, and then young Kazilia. The little girl reportedly survived for hours after the attack. Evidence suggested she tore out her own hair in distress before dying in the straw. Inside the farmhouse, the killer then murdered Maria Baumgartner in her bed, 2-year-old Joseph in his cradle. 6 victims. No witnesses. No screams heard by neighbors. The most disturbing detail. The killer did not flee. Evidence strongly suggests the murderer remained on the farm for days after the killings. The livestock were fed. Meals were prepared. Smoke rose from the chimney. The dog was cared for and bread was freshly cut. Whoever did this lived among the bodies. Discovery. The family was not discovered until April 4th, 1922, when concerned neighbors came looking after the children failed to appear at school. They entered the barn first. What they found inside shocked, even hardened investigators. The bodies were stacked, partially covered with hay. The farmhouse was silent. The investigation. Police from Munich arrived. More than 100 suspects were questioned over the years. None were convicted. Rumors spread quickly. Some believed it was robbery. But money was left untouched. Others suspected a personal motive. Andreas Gruber had a history of violence and had previously been convicted of incest with his daughter Victoria. Some theorized Joseph's paternity may have been disputed. One neighbor, Lorenz Schlittenbauer, was heavily suspected. He had a close relationship with Victoria and may have been Joseph's father. His behavior at the crime scene raised suspicions, but there was never enough proof. The original farm was demolished in 1923. Over 100 years later, this case remains officially unsolved. Why this story still haunts people? The Hinterkaifeck murders are not just about brutality. They are terrifying because the killer may have been watching the family for days, probably hiding in the house attic. He lived in the house after the murders, and no one was ever brought to justice. Over 100 years later, the case remains officially unsolved. Just footprints in the snow, leading toward a house that would soon fall silent forever. Subscribe and follow for more stories like this.